Hello and welcome. We are live from Columbus, OH, and this is the Answering Your Financial Questions live stream. Hello and welcome. You're live. Alrighty. I'm Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you, yes, you are having money problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me. You can do that by emailing coachstevemoney@gmail.com and we can work that out. You're watching this on youtube.com/coachstevemoney. And if you scroll right below the Oak Island playlist on my homepage, you'll see, the financial content of the Ramsey Show After Show playlist and the Answering Your Financial Questions playlist and the music playlist, which has 12 Ramsey adjacent songs in there, including the newest one, When You're on Baby Step 2. No spending money to seem cool. Down, down. When you're on Baby Step Down. All right, let's get into some questions. And of course, I didn't scroll it back up to the top. That's my bad. All right, these questions come from the Facebook group called The Ramsey Baby Steps Community. And that, of course, is the only forum anywhere sponsored by, or run by, rather, Ramsey Solutions. There's a bunch of other groups, Ramsey groups on there, including Ramsey dating sites as of 3 years ago, last time I noticed. But none of those are run by Ramsey Solutions, except the Ramsey Baby Steps community. And so normally I get questions from the subreddit, and that, of course, is not run by Ramsey Solutions. But letting those questions replenish. So grab some from the Facebook group. Let's see. My question is, what is someone's advice on taking and selling off some of my stock? Mind you, these stocks have performed very, very well over long term. From my non-retirement account to completely pay off my debt to make my monthly life manageable. I like the idea of having the debt gone and being able to feel like I can finally breathe, but I also feel like I'm robbing from my future self. You're robbing from your current self and your future self by not paying it off in advance. Okay? So a lot of people don't think about this, and I always harp on this, is that you obviously were dumb and doing money incorrectly, and now you're following the Ramsey advice, theoretically. And so if you did things before that Mr. Ramsey would not advise, now is when the time when you would undo it. Like as soon as you start his advice. So if you have a non-retirement investing account, should you have that? Or should your debt be completely paid off instead? I'll give you a second on that. Well, let's even check. Paying off all debt is step 2. All your non-mortgage debt, that's step 2. It does say something about investing in step 4, but that's only for retirement. That's not a non-retirement account. So if you have stocks or any other kind of investments in non-retirement account, that's when you would liquefy those to pay off your freaking debt. You don't do any other investing beyond this 15% for retirement until you're done with baby step 6, and then you're in baby step 7. So I don't see anything about doing that. So, I guess that means you undo it, right? That means you liquefy that brokerage account, non-retirement investing account, and you put it towards your debt, right? Why can't people figure that out? Don't know. I mean, at least this person thought about it. Working the steps really works. Indeed. In June, July, and August, made essentially 4 car payments a month. Today, we were able to pay it off completely. Just over 6 months of payments in that lump sum. Only 3 more debts to go. Excellent. One more loan to pay off, about $6,800 than just my mortgage left. Excellent. Our home is paid off, and I'm watching what's happening with health insurance premiums. We're healthy and in our late 40s. If the ACA credits expire, that would be your Affordable Care Act, also better known actually as Obamacare. Credits expire and our premiums doubling it. Would it be wise to suck it up and pay it, or cancel and save? You should not just keep the health insurance that you have now. You should shop it and maybe cancel that and buy it elsewhere where it would be cheaper than on the marketplace. You can buy private insurance instead of having something that's on the government marketplace. But to cancel it and not have any and save, insurance is part of baby step 0, and that applies getting any insurances you need in place, and that would include health insurance. And that is applicable until you are self-insured, which means you have enough in savings, assets, whatever, that you would be fine paying for anything that could happen to you health-wise. So that means, think of the worst case scenario. That's not that fun to think about, the worst case scenario as far as health is concerned, but you think about that, the worst case scenario, and are you still going to be fine with what you have already? And I'm going to guess probably not. So if you're not, then you need insurance. Currently in baby step. My bad. Sorry about that. I'm going to make sure I can see the chat. I'm currently, our house is paid off, and I already did that. Currently in baby step 6 with just my mortgage left. So guess what? Guess what you do? Guess what you do before doing anything else with money? Guess what you do? Guess what you do? You pay the mortgage off first. I mean, on baby steps 4, 5, and 6, you can schedule fun things. You just put it in the budget. You start a sinking fund for like a vacation or something, if you'd like to do that, and you save up for it. And so you can still do that stuff, but with any extra money, you should pay off the house. You would do that before doing any extra investing other than the 15% into retirement as well. Let's see, 15 years left on a 20-year loan. Should not have gotten the 20. Hopefully that doesn't mean you have too much house. In May of this year, I started putting an additional $1,000 on the principal each month to pay it off, and that is baby step 6, to pay it off early. So that $1,000 extra on the principal each month is doing that, is paying it off early. At this rate, I would pay it off in approximately 6 years. Current interest rate is 3.63, and that has nothing to do with the advice. It's the same advice no matter what that interest rate is, and that's also why it doesn't matter what the interest rate is if you invested it instead. That's called debt leverage, and that's a no from Mr. Ramsey on that. My question is, my wife is expecting to retire in 7 years, and I'm wondering if I should take some of the $1,000 and pay towards the loan and try to pay off house in approximately 7 years. and then place the remaining money in stocks for retirement. What are your thoughts? You do 15% of gross household income into retirement. It says it right there on the baby steps list. Invest 15% of your household income, and that's gross household income, into retirement. It doesn't say do any other crap other than that. It doesn't say to do that. It doesn't say to invest extra. So that would be a no. You do that in step 7, not while you're also on step 6, which is pay off the house early. So you take all of the money and put it there. If you're doing some other dumb crap with money as well, you would not be doing that. You would be putting that to the house as well. But again, you can put vacations and stuff in the budget. That's fine. Expensive toys, etc., whatever you and the missus agree on as far as in your budget. I have 3 small 401ks from various jobs over the years, $3,000 to $1,000. I think I need to combine them somehow. Don't want to pay penalties, so I know I can't withdraw them. What do you suggest? You can roll them over to an IRA or into your current work, in your current 401k. If you have a current 401k, you can roll them, and then that way it's easier your accounting work that way. You can leave them where they are, especially if there's not going to be a problem with any of those companies going out of business, and then that might make it more difficult to find them. But otherwise, and also if those investments available there are not as good as the ones you have in your current 401k. A reason to keep them would be if those are better investments than you have in your 401k. Which my current 401k's investment sucks now. And it doesn't even make a 3% match. Worth it. Still losing money by not doing that. So I will be maxing my Roth IRA first. Yeah. So, but you can roll them to an IRA as well. Or as I said, you're in an IRA that you control, self-directed, at a brokerage of your choosing. Generally would have pretty much unlimited choices on the investments. Long-time lurker here, but I'm finally starting my baby steps. Already have baby step 1 done with my $1,000 starter emergency fund. Excellent. And so, the finally starting thing, yep. Everybody should have started them a long time ago. Everybody should have. A lot of times people aren't even aware of a thing called no debt or Mr. Ramsey. And most people just will not do it just because of the debt is taught to us. It is advertised to us from an early age. And so that is just the normal thing. You have to be weird to do the Ramsey advice. As far as finally starting, since you can't go back in time and start earlier, then starting now is the next best option. My mother-in-law passed in January, and my father-in-law is still alive, but has dementia and a family history of living into the 90s, which could be another 20 years. My mother-in-law left him a 401k, which will need to be moved. My question is, moved to where? What's the best plan of action? If he has dementia and you are controlling everything, you have power of attorney, then you get to decide that. You can take control of it yourself. You can put it in a trust if you'd like. That may be overkill for the situation. But yeah, you might want to talk with a financial planner about that, to see about that. But it also depends on, you wouldn't necessarily need to do that if the 401k had $5,000 in it, as opposed to $50,000. That, the higher the amount, the better it would be probably to put it in a trust. It also depends on where it's going after. I mean, how much does he need? Does he need any of that money to live on for the next 20 years? That would be it as well. I did not click on Copilot. Why is that not? Did not click on Copilot. Gonna minimize it. Okay, I don't know why I would close either. Weird. Let's see if I can close it. Close window. That is so weird. I don't know why it won't let me close it. My husband and I have been asked to teach a class on basic finances to the teenagers at our church. What day materials are best for this age? Thanks. Probably most teenagers can handle Financial Peace University. So that would be good. There's also a high school curriculum that Mr. Ramsey has called Foundations in Finance. Both of those cost money though. So if you were trying to do this on the cheap or on the free, you are familiar with the Ramsey advice, then you can just draw up your own lesson plan. But as far as if you want materials, I would see either do Financial Peace University for them, or again the Foundations in Finance. And I believe Foundations in Finance is a lot more expensive. So if the church is gonna pay for it, that may be a consideration you would have to talk to with them. But you can basically just check the store, and why not? Why don't we do that? Oh, let's see. Where is it? Store. Digital courses. Kids and teens, maybe. Yeah, let's try kids and teens. Youth. Boom, 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 boom. Foundations in Personal Finance, Print and Digital Student Add-on. Oh, Homeschool Edition. Okay. Yep. So that's would be $29. So you I guess have to get that for every single student. I don't know if that's the case or not. Print and Digital Student Add-on. I'm assuming that $90 is the one for the instructor, and the $30 each is for each student, is what I am believing. Oh, fully digital. Oh, it has. Oh, it gives you the. Oh, interesting. It gives you the print option where you can have the printed materials for the same amount as the fully digital, but you do get to pick and choose which one you want there. And FPU, so that would be the thing there. Otherwise it would be FPU money, I think is where it would be. Financial Peace University, and that is $99.99 on sale, I guess. Manufacturer's suggested retail price of the $173.96. Of course, the manufacturer would be Ramsey Solutions. Annual subscription for $129.99. So those are some options there for you. So you can see if they would be, if the church would be able to, willing to foot the bill for that. So my wife and I are thinking about building a barn dominium. Just looking some ideas, looking for some ideas, I guess. If it wouldn't be ideas, it would be opinions that you're looking for. These are not the ideas you're looking for. Opinions, if it is, whether or not it is a great real estate investment. How about some English first? Hashtag third grade. You would not be doing this and investing in real estate unless you're in step 7. So if you have not paid off your house, if you have any debt or anything like that, any type of debt at all, you would not be doing that. Otherwise, knock yourself out. It is a niche thing, so it depends on the area where it would be, and it also would depend. Are you going to run it? Are you going to hire a management company to run it? That, and do you know anything about them? I don't, I'm not seeing anything in this short question that says stuff about barn dominiums or running one or being any type of landlord or anything like that. Just celebrating a small win. We had some life setbacks. That'll happen. And I've been trying to get back on track. We have paid off another credit card. Excellent. Leaves 1 credit card and 2 vehicles left. Could also sell one or both of these vehicles and replace with beers. Do you guys always feel like you're saving for something? I am moving in a year and I am saving for that. We'll need to buy a car soon, saving for that. Want to buy a house in a few years, saving for that. When does it ever end? ... It ends as soon as you stop moving, and as soon as you stop needing to buy a car soon, and as soon as you stop wanting to buy a house. That's when it would end. But there would be probably something else that you want to buy. And so anytime you want to buy something that you can't just cash flow, then guess what you're going to do? That's called saving for it. So kind of a nutty question. Kind of a nutty way it's phrased. I was wondering if I should sell my cryptocurrency, which is about 5K, and put it towards my emergency fund or savings account, or even my house fund. First time buyer, hopefully see how the market is. You don't see how the market is, you buy when you can afford it. Which have about a 3.8% APY on it. It's Fidelity Cash. What? Oh, on the house fund, only getting Fidelity Cash Management account. The combined checking and saving, it access like both. Yeah, so basically it's just a savings account there, so you're not getting great interest on it. You might want to put that on high yield savings account, but you might not be able to get much better than that, even on a high yield savings account. Now, maybe a little bit better. But yeah, so I don't see anything about non-mortgage debt here. So we're going to assume the full emergency fund. So if you're going to put it towards the full emergency fund, the full emergency fund stops once you have 6 months of expenses saved up. Now it's your option to do anywhere from 3. It can be 3.2, 3.8, 4, 5, or 6, or any number in between 3 and 6. It can be whatever floats your boat there. So if that is not done, you would be doing that, but you don't constantly keep adding to the emergency fund. past the 6 months. You put that money to the other baby steps, and it sounds like this person's in 3B, wants to buy a house at some point. So that's where the money would go instead of the emergency fund. Looking for advise. Advise is the verb. When I tell people what to do, that would be giving them advice with a C in it, not the S. But what I'm doing is advising with an S in it. Looking for advice, so again, should have a C in it, about where to put my money while I save a really good down payment for a house. No, save a really bad down payment. People are nutty with just the way they talk. 28 years old soon, still a baby. 8 to 9 months of emergency fund. You're doing it wrong. Why do we have 8 to 9 months? If you look right here, baby step 3 says 3 to 6 months, right? Right? Says it right there. So what's up with that? Woo-wee! What's up with that? Keenan, what was his last name? Keenan Thompson? I can't remember, but it was from Saturday Night Live. He was on there for forever. Let's see, where are we? So you should not be having, so you can lower that down to 6 months and put the rest into your down payment, and it'll be even more really gooder. Paid off meter, great. Decent income, great. I've read a little bit about SP 500 mutual funds and bonds, but I don't know too much about them. What are y'all recommendations? We need another apostrophe there and an S. Y'all's recommendations, and you can put that money in the market so that it grows more than it would just on a high yield savings account. But you do have to have a 5-year window, or at least a 5-year minimum, before you're going to want to pull out the money to buy a house. If it's less than 5 years, it's much more of a chance that it's going to be the same or lower than it is when you start out with it. One of the moderators put this up there, an admin, excuse me. Which of these is most likely to be your budget breaker and the one that one was eating out? In second place, we have groceries at 32%, 53% on the eating out. So yeah, hey, don't do that. You're not supposed to eat out. You're not supposed to eat out in a restaurant in step 2. So, I mean, once you're on steps 4, 5, and 6, budget some eating out and just budget it and just stick to the budget amount of it. You know, I got a feeling like this eating out stuff is not seeing light of day on the budget spreadsheet or written down or in the app or anything like that. It's like, oh, we won't do that. When we're doing the budget, we're thinking, oh, we're not supposed to go to a restaurant, so we're not going to put that in the budget. And then what do? You go out to eat. Quit being dumb. Don't do that. And then what else? Miscellaneous is 12%, and then fun or entertainment. So, I mean, miscellaneous would have to include what? Health insurance, health issues. Oh, what else might come on? That would include what? Like vehicle repairs. Trying to think what else. I mean, I guess it could be anything because it could be rent even, or mortgage payment would be, because that's a lot of extra stuff there. That could be there. But yeah, eating out being 53%, not really that much of a surprise. Oh, and as far as this is concerned, what's most likely to be your budget breaker? A female commenter said needs an option for a spouse. Okay. Men's do be shopping at the Home Depot and stuff, right? And they always need a new truck, right? Am I right? Baby step 2, wife and I went down to one vehicle since I work remotely. Oh, that seems very logical. We've made a lot of progress really quickly without that extra payment, I bet. That's how it works. We took that in for service today and it was a few hundred more than expected. Felt real good. Not having to use a credit card or borrow the extra from a family member. Even better still, have a good amount in emergency fund and we'll have it back up on the next pay cycle. Woo! Woo! Progress. Excellent. That's how it's supposed to work. And that's awesome. When before you would have had to, and borrow the extra from a family member, that should be off the table regardless. That should never happen. That would be the last thing that you would do. Even after go back into debt for it, which of course you shouldn't do that either. Yeah, those are the bottom of the barrel, 2 bottom of the barrel things with the friends or family loaning. And you don't do that, works both ways too. You do not lend nor borrow from family or friends ever, like ever. Okay, friends, this is something I've gone back and forth with and wanted to pick brains, all right? I fear I may need to be humbled a bit, so here I go. Here I am. Let's find out. My husband and I just moved back to our home state of Oklahoma. There ain't no love in Oklahoma, just the whistle of a long black train. Oklahoma from Florida. I hear the rainstorms ain't nothing to mess with. After he got out of the Navy, got a song for everything, last year. Our very best friends have finally been given an adoption date for their foster kids. Forever kids. Oh, I see. Because they're currently fostering them. And they're going to adopt them. Excellent. And it's the beginning of November. My husband can't get more than 2 days off, plus the weekend, because of his job. And we are contemplating flying to go to the adoption party. It's going to cost about $1,200 to $1,400. I don't know where the humbling comes in, but I can understand you wanting to go. Our very best friends that is that back in Florida? The friends are in Florida. You're gonna have to stop being there for all of their stuff. So this will probably be the first time of that. Especially the lower the baby step number you're in. $1,200, $1,400 to fly. Get a rental car and a hotel for the 3 nights. Driving is 21 hours each way and not an option for this, unfortunately. I feel guilty spending that money just for the weekend, but also don't want to miss being there for the celebration. Yeah, you can't do both. You can't spend the money on that and also have it to apply to your baby steps as well. I understand, I can support from afar, absolutely. But it's the showing up part that gets me. What would you do? We have an emergency fund and the money in our account to do it. This is not an emergency. Showing up for friends is great. Supporting friends is great. It's not an emergency. And when you say and the money in our account to do it, why is that money there? What should that money be doing? If it should be doing something on the baby steps, unless you're in baby step 7. Oh, you're working on paying off debt. Okay, so you should not have any extra money in your account to do it. You should not be saving up that money in case you need to fly to Florida for your friends or something like that. Yeah, that money should be sent to debt. I'm also worried that because the flights are non-refundable, and I'm worried that if we go, our flight might be canceled due to government shutdown. I don't know that that's the problem. That would be a problem. It would just be that you have other financial goals right now. And so, and since you chose to move back to Oklahoma away from your friends, you're going to be missing stuff like this. And so, I mean, maybe you could send a nice gift or something, definitely a card and so forth. And you can call them on that day and celebrate with them over the phone or the, which is, these portable television studios called cell phones. You can do the FaceTime or the Google Meet or your video conferencing software platform of choice. So yeah, this is when you're on step 2. This is when you act like you're on step 2. Hey, so I wanted to say thank you to the person that started one of the last posts about switching car insurance. Remember that? We were talking about that. Thank you, LOL. I started looking into my own, and now I'm saving $90 a month. That's a lot of difference. Hey, got a great idea, everybody. Shop your freaking insurance around every time the premium comes up. Shop it around. My mama told me you better shop around. I am on cloud 9 right now, just in time for the holidays. I wish this person would have said what place they were getting it at previously, but also you gotta make sure that you are comparing apples to apples, in that this is not stripped down coverage at the new place. And it was a lot more coverage at the old place, so you got to be careful about that. So yeah, definitely encourage y'all to take a second look at your insurance too, just to see if y'all could be saving money. So yeah, have a great day, everyone. Baby step 6 here, working on paying off our 15-year mortgage and almost half done. Excellent. But would love to know your very best tips that have helped you pay it off at record speed. We send $1,000 extra principal with our monthly mortgage payment, and our income tax refund is split half into savings and half to principal. No side hustles ideas for us. Okay. Again, what is the savings for? From the income tax refund. It better than getting a big income tax refund. I got a great idea. Why don't you change your withholding so you don't owe anything, and you also don't get anything back, as close to that as you can get. That way you get the money in each paycheck, and you can do better with it than the federal government can do with it without paying you any interest. And so that much is certain. Trust me on that. You can do better with it. But also, so you see, there's no baby steps, again, that say save up your full emergency fund and then keep adding money to it. It doesn't say to do that while you're paying off your house. It says put all extra money to the house. So you're doing it wrong, of course, along with steps 4 and 5, if 5 is applicable. But yeah, it doesn't say anything about, and put an extra penny a year into the emergency fund. It doesn't even say that. It doesn't say anything about doing that. So why are you doing that? People are nutty. Now, if these are sinking funds for known upcoming expenses, then that's fine to do. You would do that from wherever, but there shouldn't be any big tax refund to be splitting like that, and to make it worth a post like this. Can you work from home as a customer service agent? Not with English skills like that, you can't. Yeah, you can. Some companies do that. They allow you to work from home. Some of them want you, prefer that you work from home. And it, of course, is not for everybody, but some companies won't do that, but you can do it if you work for some company that allows it. Debt-free. I debated on posting this as I didn't want it to seem like a humble brag. Well, by saying that at all, you lost a lot of people. But the complete lifestyle mentality I had to... Okay, one more time. So I debated on posting this as I didn't want it to seem like a humble brag, but the complete lifestyle mentality I had to make it work took tons of effort. Okay, I got you. All right. It kind of makes sense. Maybe comma in there somewhere, but other than that, it's fine. I'm in my mid-40s. If only, right? I didn't start looking into retirement, debt savings, or anything until 3 years ago. Oh, I'm sure you looked into stuff. It was probably just stuff not as nearly as important as retirement, debt, and savings. Yes, income and hard work help, but having to play catch up, there's 2 words, and having 4 children's, I had to watch and allocate every penny. I'm celebrating my victory, roughly 3 years to get here. I also paid off, is 2 words, my mortgage, and I'm no longer in crippling debt. Excellent. I still have to grind and save for emergencies, future purchases, and retirement, but I'm done with being in consumer debt, which makes it easier to grind and save for emergencies, future purchases, and retirement. But the full emergency fund should be the end of the emergency savings. And then you just retirement is its own step as well. And then future purchases, known upcoming expenses, you can start extra savings for that if you need to, if you can't just cash flow it. Which again, cash flowing it would be easier without having to make any debt payments. Baby step 3, what are the categories you save for your baby step 3? I feel like for me, as if I have a lot of categories I'm saving for. Thank you. Some people do that. There was a post the other day about the grocery category, and they had each individual item you would buy at a grocery store as a different category. That's a little bit too in-depth for me. Now, it's good to know what you're spending the money on, and, you know, I can see maybe doing that once or twice so you get an idea of what you're buying. That way you can cut out maybe the more expensive things. But as far as doing that all the time, for most people, I wouldn't think it would be necessary. But the categories you save for your baby step 3, that's full emergency funds. So that is based on you being in an emergency. And so it would not include things that you would stop during an emergency, such as investing for retirement. You would not be doing that. You would stop and just pile up cash. So that doesn't include the investing and anything else that you would not be doing. Trying to think what else would you not be doing in the case of emergency. Like anything else you would have a sinking fund for. So like your sinking funds for optional things. That's not a, thing like, well, we do need new tires. So, you would still be saving for that if you needed to. But if you can delay it, you delay it while you're having an emergency, of course. And so you just got to think about that and not just do the blanket, oh, this is all of my expenses and I'll base my emergency fund on that. That's not what it's all about. So it would be things that, for example, if you wouldn't be going to work during this emergency, then you also don't need to include that much gas in your computations for the amount that you would need. So, and it depends. Everybody's expenses are different, so on all that would depend. But it's not automatically what all of your in a normal non-emergency situation, what your expenses are. $125,000 in debt, not including medical bills, all in collection, so no rush to pay them off. That's true. They go to the end of the list with making minimum payments on everything and household bills paid with roughly $500 a month per month extra to throw at debt. Been throwing it at the medical bills to get those paid off. So you're doing it wrong. You just said there was no rush to do it, and you're doing it. Why are you doing that? That's nutty. Two-income family, but the breadwinner will be out of work in about 3 or 4 months for surgery. So we will be down to one income for a while. Knowing what lies ahead, should I stop putting that extra $500 towards debt? Well, you're putting it towards the wrong debt right now. And start saving for months ahead, or continue the pace as normal. Thoughts? So this is going to happen when in 3 to 4 months for surgery. He's a two-income family, but the breadwinner, so the breadwinner makes more money, is the one that makes more money, I guess. Yeah, I mean, if you know it's coming, you can do that, but you can also try to lower expenses during that time. And again, that's where, again, you would not be saving for retirement. Neither of you would be. And you would not be doing other things that you would not do in emergency time, because that's an emergency time. I'm assuming the surgery is necessary. If it's cosmetic surgery, maybe we can wait on it until we're out of debt. That's all I have to say about that. Just also only $500 a month. I bet I could take stuff out of your budget and make you have more to put towards debt. That's from a two-income family. But two-income family may be paying for daycare as well, and that takes a lot of your extra money away. Just paid off a HELOC, that is home equity line of credit. That's a loan, and that's a no. And have no other debt other than the mortgage. Excellent. Mortgage will be paid off in 3 months, possibly before January 1st if overtime becomes available. Excellent. Make it happen. I feel like, for me, neurotic in being so gazelle intense as I'm so close. Who else becomes less intentional and gets more intense as the finish line approaches? Well, you are supposed to be gazelle intense in baby step 2. What you didn't talk about is the full emergency fund, and that makes me think you did it wrong and had the full emergency fund first before paying off the HELOC. Possibly. And you should also be investing if you're not. But also, if you could pay the mortgage off in, I think Dave says 2 years, it might be a year or 2, I can't remember. But if you can stop investing and pay off your house in a very short time, like the 3 months, then yeah, you can hold off on investing or stop it temporarily while you do pay off that house. Otherwise, And that, and the problem is that you're going from step 2 to step 6 immediately. It sounds like to me, but normally you would go from step 2 to step 3, and then after that to step 4, 5, and 6. 4, 5, and 6 all at the same time if 5 is applicable to you, because retirement is applicable to everybody, and you do have a mortgage. Maybe step 2, I work in IT and my company reimburses certification costs. Before I discovered Dave, I would put the certification fees on a credit card and tell myself I would pay it when I got reimbursed. I never did, shocker, and would spend the money like it was a bonus. Now I know better than to play that game. Yeah, excellent. Yep. That's what people do. They always say, oh, that's the whole thing about, that's why you need to get a 15-year mortgage instead of a 30 and say, I'll pay it off like it's a 15. No, most likely you won't. The average human being will not do that, even if they say they're going to do that. So, Mr. Ramsey, probably, definitely me, but probably Mr. Ramsey too, we don't believe you on that crap. If you have to get a 30 to be able to have wiggle room or be able to afford the payment, then that's too much house. That's a no and a no and a no. But good, this person learned about himself because he was doing it wrong. Figured out he was doing it wrong, started doing it correctly. Excellent. Baby step 2 again. I'm planning on making the first big payment towards my student loans. Which is 30% of the total amount. Okay, where was that money? Speaking of people doing it wrong, how do you have that much money at one time to make a big payment? You're doing it wrong. It's best to pay off smaller student loans. Yes, smallest to largest. Not those with the highest interest rates first. No. Did you not read baby step 2? It says smallest to largest. That's the debt snowball. Rates are fixed and currently at 5.75. If I paid off higher interest first, my rate will drop to 5.16. If I do smaller to larger amounts, new rate will be 5.67%. Thank you. And you're going to be worried about less than an entire percent. So that is going to be what? Less than 0.5%. Less than 0.5%. And so you're going to not do it the way Dave says to do it. How about you just shut up and do it? His plan is proven. Your way is not. And also, we don't use the calculator for much of the Ramsey advice. So if you would like to be by the numbers and you would like to make it a big deal about the 0.5%, and you would like to do that debt leveraging, knock yourself out. That is not the baby steps. You're doing it wrong. But also, you shouldn't have been saving up a big payment. Now, understand, if that's a sudden influx of money, that may happen, sure, and you put that to whatever baby steps you're in. But it sounds to me like you've been saving this up for a while, which is doing it wrong. My side hustle has now $5K in an account, debt free, and I have my emergency fund. What do I do with it? I was going to keep it aside for taxes. Why is spending so hard when you've been saving for so long? Because you've been saving it for so long. And you don't want it to just go away immediately. But to keep it aside for taxes, do you owe? Are you going to owe 5K or taxes? And again, this should be addressed during the year where you change your withholding, or if that's a side hustle where you don't get taxes taken out for it, then you'll have to pay it in April. If you make a certain amount, you should be doing quarterly estimates and paying that. But yeah, you would just hold it. If you're going to owe 5K, you want to have 5K in that account still, so that that can come out of there and you don't have to take it from other money. So, and you should have been doing that all along, and maybe that's partly what you were doing, what you were doing with it. And so you're not spending it. It's taxes. You already worked that job. You worked in that job, so you already owe it to the government already. You just don't settle up with them until every year in April, middle of April. If you were to get an inheritance and it could pay off your mortgage, would you do that and be debt free? Car's paid for. Car's got nothing to do with this. If you were to get an inheritance and it could pay off your mortgage, would you do that and be debt free? Why wouldn't you? In order to invest it instead, that would be debt leverage. And Mr. Ramsey is not only the no debt guy, he's the no debt leverage guy. So, and that is a step, by the way. Step 6, pay off your home early. And let's see, I don't see anything about on here about investing other money other than the 15% for retirement. And I don't see anything that says invest more than 15% for retirement. So what are you going to do with that money if not step 6? Theoretically, step 6 would be the last one that you have to do. Unless you finesse the system by figuring out what you would need, and by not having a mortgage payment, it would make it easier for you to save for kid college, for example. And once you pay off the house early, then of course you can increase the 15% to whatever you would like investing for retirement. But we don't do that while we have a mortgage still, because that is, again, debt leverage. Oh, I did not change the ticker below. So, of course, it said Ramsey Show After Show, Monday through Friday. Monday and Tuesday did not happen. Monday didn't happen. Made a business decision on that because I was cleaning up the old apartment on Sunday. And been working on here a little bit, as you might be able to see behind me, that some of the boxes are gone, and so distributing things to the correct room in the correct place here, and so working on that as well. And so I also needed more sleep this morning, so there was no after show. So the plan is for there to be after shows Wednesday through Friday. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday is the plan. Other than that, as far as plugs, if you are having money problems, or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation / assessment with me by emailing coachstevemoney@gmail.com. It's right there. Donations can go to paypal.me/coachstevemoney. Alternatively, the Cash App at $CoachSteveMoney. Alternatively, yet still, Walmart gift card to that same email address, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Upcoming streams, subject should change, and they did change this week. The Ramsey Show After Show 11:05 a.m. Eastern Time. And again, we did miss the Monday and Tuesday after shows at 11:05 a.m., but there will be, until further notice. This is still until further notice. Wednesday through Friday will happen, and that is the case going forward until further notice. Answering your financial question streams, 8 p.m. I can't remember if I did the one Sunday night or not. I don't think I did. As well as Saturday and or Sunday, October 18th and 19th. And that is the case. I normally do one or the other at least, but sometimes do both of them. Alrighty, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe, like, that would be the thumbs up button. You don't need to smash it. You can lightly graze it as long as it changes and registers your click or tap. That will work for me. And as always, make smart financial decisions every day.